Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation and thanks so much for coming back. But for everyone out there who's new to the show, welcome. Feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer, soda, water, coffee in the fridge. Cheers to everyone out there on the internet. Obviously, we don't want to be selfish. A lot of people say being selfish is a bad thing, but I think to some degree, a good, healthy dose of selfishness is required for like the human brain to be able to interface with other people appropriately. Like, how can you make healthy time for others if you're not making healthy time for yourself?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you have like a healthy, not toxic way to spend time with yourself that, you know, is fulfilling, go for it. Yeah. And I think that that is another thing too, that I would imagine being somebody that was in a band for as long as you were, putting in all of that effort with other parties of people, you know, it's like your thing, but it's also everybody else's thing. It's not like, it's hard sometimes like, oh, like I can maybe write part of a song, but I need everybody else to kind of contribute to complete this thing. But now it's like, I can leave the house, I could do these photos, and I'm not necessarily dependent on a bunch of other 30 somethings to show up on time.
Dude. Get out of my head, Brian. You're so right, because that is, well, first off, it's a healthy way to give yourself that time, because a lot of my time is focused on other people, whether it's my clients, whether it's my family, whether it's my wife, my daughter. I focus a lot on all them, but then you have to focus on yourself. And whether that hobby is something that is, you know, watching a TV show or playing video games or, you know, whatever it might be, I find that I can recharge my battery so much more by putting something creative in. And you know, an hour of me going out and taking photos is the equivalent of me playing 4 hours of video games.
Sure.
To like recharge and be ready to go back to the normal daily routine. And that I can rely only on myself and not have 3 other guys that I have to, you know, mix schedules with and try and do that. Oh my God, it's so freeing to do that. And like, oh, pick up my camera, bags in the car, let's go. You know, and just go out. Oh my God, is that great?
Yeah, I think that, you know, being somebody who has done a lot of different music stuff, I think a big part of the reason why I've always had so many different projects, I used to think it was because, oh, I have all of these fucking ideas. I think it really depends more, or falls more. That would be the way to put it. It falls more on the fact that throughout the course of my history as a musician, I haven't been with people that are full-time, but I was full-time and I needed to find some way to fill those gaps. So I just start creating, you know, basically I want to be a full-time musician. So I have 3 part-time jobs, right? But they're just like part-time bands.
Yes. Yeah.
And just filling the gap in that way. I don't think I really ever necessarily wanted to be in 3 bands. I'm still in 3 bands. I don't want to be in 3 bands. Cool. I really don't, but they all have their purpose and it makes sense. And I'm used to it now. It probably doesn't make sense. I've just been doing this for so long that it is what I do. Yeah. I make it work.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, you make it work. And I think that, you know, that it's like that old, I think it's like a Native American saying, like, which one wins, the wolf that you feed? You're feeding so many different wolves because you have different musical tastes. You have different musical backgrounds. You're very interesting and what's the word for it? Renaissance man of music. I would think of Brian Howe. Like, you have everything from your more metal taste to your more rap and hip hop taste, you know, and everything in between. You fill up all those times that you're not with one of those bands with, you know, creating amazing content. So I think that that's something that's really cool that you do.
I think that it's just what I enjoy doing. If I'm not making something, then I get unbelievably testy, we'll call it. That's the word we'll use.
That word is actually perfect because I do too. My wife sees it in me. I get like, I got to do something. I got to do something. I'm getting a little bit like my fuse gets a little shorter. Not like I go off the handle or go crazy or anything, but like I need an outlet. And I have to be doing something or else I'm going to go crazy. So testy is the right word. And one other thing that I kind of wanted to bring up from one of your previous shows that I watched was the idea of something that sets apart artists and musicians too. How you were talking about that drive that keeps you going. I believe it was the See God for Life interview that you did. That was fantastic. Like, you got to do what you got to do to make it work. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about this in regards to that drive because I was chatting with, so we'll leave names and specifics out of this,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But like a friend of mine was just talking about how there's something that they're involved in. They're part of a board of a community thing that they don't want to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all of these like things like it's hard because like I don't live as close as I used to, and I work and I do all of these things, and like I just don't understand. Like when I was like younger, I actually lived further away and it was easier to do, and I was just like, yeah, you actually cared. If you actually want to do something, you don't even think about what you need to do to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people were surprised that like I just turned 36 years old. I just got my driver's license this year. I didn't have a car for as long as I did. And everybody was like, how did you do everything? Because I want to do it. You find a way to make things happen. I think that there are a lot of people that want to be known as something like, oh, I want to be known as a musician. I want to be known as an artist, but like I can't. Why? But like, I just don't feel like if you want to do, I know that I'm explaining this really poorly, and I wish I had a better example right now to use, but maybe people were following me. I'm just being hypercritical of the way that I explain things.
Yeah.
Drive is really all it boils down to. And I think, as somebody that was in a band for as long as you were, that really tried to do things by the book the correct way, over time, I'm sure that what ended up making things kind of just like whatever the word would be, but we'll just say like made things maybe not as worth the time anymore, was like the collective drive for everybody to make that thing work was gone.
Yeah.
And that's really all you need. It's not like, oh, I forgot how to write songs, or I forgot how to book shows. I forgot how to sing. I forgot how to, how to do all of those things.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do it, and you tell yourself that you don't want to do it, then it's just, there's no reason for it to happen.
Very much
right.
So. Yeah.
I don't even know what happened with the band. If it was one of these like, well, time fizzles and it gets a little rusty and now all of a sudden the bike doesn't work anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Type of things,
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the band, it just kind of it fizzled, and, one thing that Corey and I have used in both music and in just real life is a phrase that we coined. It was the gas, the give a shit factor. And you have to give a shit.
Sure,
to use your words, you have to want it enough. And we did want it. And I think that we tried to, I should only speak for myself, but I tried to do too many things at once because I tried to build a career just in case. I really shouldn't have done that if I wanted to make music my full-time career. So speaking for myself, I think that maybe I doubted myself more than I should have, or maybe I had to make sacrifices that I wasn't really ready to make as far as having popular music that would be able to create an income that would sustain all four members.
Yeah.
That wasn't, a sacrifice that I wanted to make.
The thing that really, really sucks, and I think a lot of people don't really think about this, is that not even like Kanye West or Ye, apologies. He's yes.
Yeah.
Ye is not even a full-time musician.
Right.
He has fashion.
Exactly.
He has all of these other investments. Then you see like artists like, I don't know, like Cardi B or Nicki Minaj doing like brand sponsorship deals on their social media.
Right. Right.
Nobody is a full-time
Full-time
musician.
Right.
You know, there are artists that we know, at least we probably both know them, but I definitely know them. People that play and have played in very big bands locally that when they're home, they have a job that is not their band.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just like, that's the thing, is like understanding like what it actually means to be a full-time musician. Right.
Right. Well, actually, that was one of the things. Not that this is an excuse, because there is no excuse. If I would have just went full time in the band and kept on just teaching guitar lessons on the side, that would have been a full-time musician. But I didn't. And here's one of the conversations that happened. We opened for a very big band at Mr. Small's Funhouse. And after the show, the band was actually, this is a band that we look up to. They were nice enough to talk to us and say, hey, good set. And we said, thank you. That means a lot coming from you. I said, great. So, are you guys looking to do this, full time? Like we're having this conversation right now. And he said, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. I mean, like, you're still going to have to work too. And I was like, oh, I know, like, tons of songs. He's like, no, I mean, like, I'm going to be done with this tour. I'm going to go back to working at my uncle's pizza shop. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
That's like, wow. So there's like no, like you said, like full-time musician, especially if I wanted to go down the road and make the music that I wanted to make. If I wanted to make something that was going to be more popular, maybe I would be doing my part-time work, doing brand sponsorship deals and stuff like Nicki Minaj, which that is a creative route that I wanted to take, but the other guys weren't on board.